Welcome to Peace in the Valley, where adventure starts at home.
Hello everyone, how are you doing today? This is Bryce with Peace in the Valley, and I welcome you to our channel. Please give us a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the notification bell, so that way you can be alerted when the next video comes out. We are going to do something very fun tonight, and I say it's fun, but it's actually some hard work, but sometimes the funnest stuff to do is actually hard work. We are going to make sauerkraut, or we're going to get the sauerkraut process started. We're going to start off with a small to medium head, and we're going to cut it up, slice it. We're going to put it inside here. There's a couple ways you can do it, and one is to use a food processor. It will shred it up pretty well. I'm going to just slice it with a knife. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way, and then I will show you the steps that it takes to get it to the next stage after we slice it. So stay with me, and here we go. One of the things we're going to do is we are going to record our weight down. Make sure your surfaces are all clean. First one was 2 pounds and 9 ounces. And this one's about 3 pounds and 9 ounces. Okay, so now that we have our sizes, the reason we're taking weight is because we want to use the amount of salt is going to be 2% minus the weight of the cores. And that's what our plan here is. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to save these leaves. Now a lot of times you may be inclined to throw them out, but we're actually going to use these outer leaves to cover our sauerkraut, because then after that we're going to put bricks over top. We want to make sure that we keep the air away from the kraut. We want to keep it submerged. So we keep bad molds from growing. Okay. And one last one. It's amazing how these grow. Okay. Next, we do the same thing with this one. Okay, until we get off all the outer leaves. We're actually going to go ahead and rinse those leaves out too. And one more. Be sure to keep your place clean, and you don't want to take a chance on getting other bacteria into it. Now we flip the cabbages upside down, and we're going to go here, and we're just going to cut. If it falls on the floor, leave it on the floor. That's not generally my rule of thumb. My rule of thumb is just eat it. Doesn't really matter how long it's been there. Well, maybe. I do have some standards, but when it comes to kraut, you raise your standards. And if it falls, clean it up when you're done. The salt we're going to use needs to be a salt that does not have iodine in it. You also do not want anti-caking agents, you just want pure salt. You might even find it as pickling salt. Okay, we got our cores cut off. Now we're going to go ahead and just start slicing. You want them fairly thin. If you can do an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch, that's perfect. If you do bigger than that, it's not going to hurt anything. It just takes longer to break up the cells. That's one advantage is to the food processor. But the one thing the food processor doesn't do is doesn't seem to break it up as well as if you do it by hand. Might not make sense, but cabbage is really good. Doesn't matter if it's cooked or raw. But the advantage to having cabbage is it has just excellent bacteria for your gut. Especially if you're on medications that sometimes kill the good stuff in your gut. Now you don't want to wash it after you cut it. You want to keep it exactly the way it is. Just make sure your surface is all clean. Thinner the better. I do about 1 to 2 inch strips for the sauerkraut there. Show you at another angle. We zeroed out our scale. When we put the cup on it, is we're going to sprinkle a little bit of salt right now. Into here, the cabbage that we started. Okay, what's going to happen now is that salt is going to draw out the moisture. And we're just going to leave it just like that while we chop up more. Put the scale away so you don't drain the battery. and your wife goes to use it next, and she's wondering what's wrong. Then she sends you out to Dollar General to go get some batteries. So it's just best to turn it off. Or may have used their fists or hands. We're just going in and we're just squeezing it. Just gives you a real workout in your wrist and your hands. If you're on a computer all day and you're getting carpal tunnel, do this. Get some other muscle movements besides your touchpad or your mouse. You can see how the moisture's already coming out. The person who really taught us a lot, actually helped us understand about sauerkraut, was our foreign exchange student, Johannes, from Germany. He is the one who is telling us how terrible the sauerkraut is in the stores. We got sauerkraut and he would eat it and tell us how not very good. So we would say, well, what if we got German sauerkraut from Aldi? Well, we got it. He said it's better, but it's still not very good. So that's when we started investigating making our own sauerkraut. But now I just want to squeeze to get the juices out. Squeeze. Squeeze. You want to make sure you get enough juice out of it to be able to pack it in and cover it tightly and where it's submerged. I like to do this in layers. Some layers are definitely deeper than others. Too much salt will stunt the fermentation. Too little salt and it just won't start. And you got to have that happy medium, and 2% seems to be about where that is at. I put the salt in like 20 minutes ago, so it starts breaking it down. And that 20 minutes does a lot to do that. So what are your meals like, Joel?
What?
What are your meals like?
Basically, you get basic breakfast food, you know, hash browns, eggs, sausage.
Why do you get to eat so much better than the Army?
Because we're not the Army.
I mean, it seems like all Julia ever eats are those MREs or whatever they're called.
Hey, MREs are pretty good. She doesn't know how good she's got.
Are you saying she just likes to complain?
Yeah.
Man, it's amazing how this, in 20 minutes, it releases the water. Are you gonna try some of my homemade sauerkraut when you get home?
Yeah. Make some Reuben sandwiches.
Yeah, we're gonna start planting cabbages probably beginning of next week. It's more of an end of summer.
Okay.
So where are you at?
Powertrain unit. So we're right along Cooper River. It looks to be about 50 miles from the coast, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like right outside of Charleston. If you just look up, what's it say? Nuclear power training unit, you'll find it on Google Maps.
How big is the base?
It's massive. Our area is where we, like, our site, what we can't leave while we're in working hours.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. I don't know. I'm not good at sizes. I'd say like I don't know. It's pretty big.
Is it like the size of Paulding County?
No, not big.
Because I think the one base Julia was on was like the size of Paulding County.
Oh, the base?
Like the whole place, not just like the nuclear.
I'd say it's the size. I'd say the whole base, because we're on a joint naval and air force base. So we're on the site. We're on the nuclear power training site, which is part of the base.
Yeah.
And the whole base is probably it's probably the size of the county. Because most of it's just forest. Like, a lot of it's big forest. Yeah, it's just like a college campus here. Like, there's dorms and sidewalks, people are biking around, skateboarding.
Is anybody doing anything intelligent?
That's all in the schoolhouse. It's a big building.
Yeah.
On a farm campus. So I'd say it's like college, except you have stricter dorm inspections.
Well, you're not seeing drug problems, are you?
Allegedly, I heard there was a cocaine ring that got busted, but there are a lot of rumors.
Yeah, well, stay away from drugs. It's just, I didn't tell you, but I don't think you know, but yeah, do good, not bad. So now you can see what kind of consistency we're at on the sauerkraut. In fact, it's very good. We could even get more moisture out of it than that, but there is no water added into here. The cabbage that was completely dry is now completely soaked. We could keep going further, but I really don't think it's necessary. I think we're really good. We're not packing too tight where it won't ferment. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put grape leaves in, and we're going to cover that. That will help keep it crisp and fresh. We're going to put a couple of those on, just like that. Angel picked these the other day when she was driving along the creek. Okay, now we're going to take the cabbage leaves and put those on top. The nice thing about cabbage leaves is they're nice and round. Okay, and the ones that are kind of chewed up, we're gonna just leave alone, leave out. Okay, now we're going to put our bricks on, just like this. Now I ended up not using all the salt. Why? Well, if I don't have to use the salt, I really don't want to use the salt. So, there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this sit for a few days, and we're going to check it out, make sure we're not having issues with mold. I don't think we will. The leaves themselves, if it gets moldy, will go just upon them. And we're going to try to keep everything in here submerged. Everything in here submerged. Just like that. Now we're not making a huge batch. Those heads were not that big, but that's okay. Lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to put the lid on it. We're going to take this down to the basement where it's a little bit cooler and it's dark. You want to make sure that you're in a dark area. We want to do everything we can to make sure that this stays dark, cool, and air-free while the anaerobic processes start to break down from the cabbage juices into a vinegar, a natural vinegar. So we didn't add any water, we didn't add any vinegar. We're just going to let it ferment on its own. And we're going to check it out in a week or so. So we're going to have you join us back in just a little bit and see what this turns out like. So here's a follow-up to our sauerkraut that we started on Monday. You see how it's foaming a little bit? That's actually good. You want it to, it's going to keep doing that. And we're almost a week out. We're going to keep letting this ferment. Maybe even another week yet, maybe 2. But here it is, and it's doing really well. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe to Peace in the Valley. And make sure to also click the button for notifications, so that way as soon as the new video comes out, you will be notified right away.
You're stupid. And your
I-
tattoo is ugly.
I'm just speaking
Joel.
facts.
What did you
Okay.
I'm just stating facts.
Whoa, I'm not stupid. I got a full ride to Ohio State without having to join the military.
Yeah, but you didn't find that
Well,
out,
I'm
so
not
I have to
stupid
keep
either.
going, so.
I'm trained to be a nuclear engineer.
And they're paying Joel for free for college too.
Okay, well, they're paying me and Joel this exact same amount, but I pump gas.
Yeah,
So-
So in other words, Joel's going to have a lot better job when he gets out than being a gas station attendant.
Whoa there. I could work at an airline, homie.
Okay, everybody be quiet
Or
now. I'm going to start
I could be
recording.
contracted by the government to clean out gas tank thingies for like $75 an hour. Wow. So who's the real winner?
That's right. You're the winner, Julia. Keep telling yourself.
What? It was depending on what I want to do.
I agree, you're the winner.